That was Hitler. He was in Europe. I said that was Hitler. Hitler was in Europe. And this Hitler was practicing apartheid. Yes, Hitler was practicing apartheid. And those Europeans and Jews wanted it to die. Those Europeans and Jews wanted it to quench. One more time. That was Hitler. He was in Europe. That was Hitler. I say he was in Europe. And that Hitler was practicing apartheid. Yes, Hitler was practicing apartheid. And those Europeans and Jews wanted him to die. Oh yes, Europeans and Jews wanted him to die. That was war. I said that was war. Yes, that was war between Hitler and Europe. And that was war to eradicate apartheid in Europe. And that was war to eradicate apartheid in Europe. And all the whole world was invited to fight. The whole world was invited to fight. Yes, the whole world was invited to fight. Because America was invited to fight. Japan was invited to fight. Russia was invited to fight. France was invited to fight. Not all that, Africa was invited to fight. Yes, Africa was invited to fight. My father and your father were invited to fight.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again tonight for joining us on this wonderful Friday. It's a wonderful day, and please stay safe out there. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again for bringing us here together. Lord, we ask you to continue to bless us, continue to protect us. My Lord, we have no other protection besides you. And we ask you, my Lord, to continue to pour the blanket of protection all over us. My Lord, we ask you again this evening as we gather here to give us wisdom as we open our mouth to talk about our brothers and sisters, whoever it is we're going to be talking about tonight. Lord, whatever comes out of our mouth, it must be something that perhaps people might not agree with it, but it should be something of a decency. We ask you to continue to give us wisdom. Lord Jesus, we ask you to bless our country, the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. Lord Jesus, we ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks. So tonight's program is going to be a doozy one. I'm going to be saying here, first thing first. My support for Dr. Barker remains the same. It hasn't changed, and I'm not changing. However, if this is a platform where intellectual issues and ideas are discussed. And so if we see, even besides the fact that we support a certain will-be candidate in the upcoming election, if we see somebody else is in there, we have to showcase that person as well. because this is not a platform for Dr. Bakai. This is not a platform for a specific political party. This is a platform where intellectual discussion about our country is taking place. And so if we're showcasing other candidates, that does not mean that our support for whoever we declared our support for has now been dwindling or even going away. Far from it, far from it. But we will be truthful and we will be honest as we face you on this camera. I do not intend to lie to you. I will be truthful. You might not like it, but that's the truth. If I tell you what I believe is the truth, then even if you don't like it, but when I leave this camera, shut the camera off and go and lay down, I will be in peace. I'm not going to worry about me saying something. Oh, why did I have to? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm a human being like any other person. I make mistakes. That's fine. But if my mistakes are genuine, then I think those of you perhaps will disagree with me, vehemently disagree with me. But at the end, you will say, okay, yeah, there are certain points in here that we're going to glean and takes out of this. So I'm just saying to you that I'll be truthful. I'm not going to lie to you. So my support for Dr. Baka remains the same. However, tonight I'm going to showcase TIAWAN Councillor TIAWAN GONGLOE, who is also seeking the going to put his hat in the ring. He hasn't declared yet. I'm not too sure if he has, and I don't know much, but I know. And one other thing I want to make clear here: I also, as a progressive, sympathize. Let me say that again. As a progressive, sympathize with his position. Now you're going to say, "But how are you going to support Dr. Baka and sympathize with somebody?" Why not? Sympathize with somebody does not mean I am in a person camp. Far from it. There are certain things. Look, come on, let's take this thing serious. You want to tell me the gazillion political party in Liberia that they have nothing, no common threads? No. In fact, the gazillion political party in Liberia, you can pull all of them, their major ideas, the pillars of their ideas of how to get Liberia from one point to another. You can put all of them and make them want into one political party, except we're not going to do that. No more one soul say, all. And therefore, with the opportunity, Liberians are giving everyone an opportunity to express themselves. But in terms of ideology, in terms of how they want to get Liberia from here to there, the threads is there. It's that every one of them recognize that there are challenges in Liberia, including the current sitting president. He also recognized that there are challenges in Liberia, and these challenges must be overcome by all of us. So there's no way you're gonna sit here and say, how do you say you sympathize with it and you're supporting? Please don't. I'm like, what are you gonna do to me? My hey you more. You hey more. What you will do? Nothing. Let's have fun. That's all I can tell you. I'm Blaku. You know what Blaku mean? In Kunabo Dale, elephant skin. And those of you that are from the countryside, you know how long it takes to cook elephant skin before you can enjoy eating it? And first of all, elephant skin is bitter, real bitter. So you have to cook that for 3 to 4 days straight before it can even be softened for you to put your teeth through it. That's who I am. Can you cook me for 3 to 4 days? You Iba. So there's nothing you said that will move me. Welcome. Samson to LeBron Public Radio. Hopefully later on, 2 of my colleagues might be joining me. I'm not too sure, but I'm here. So let's go ahead. But before I go on, as somebody who grew up in Toll Town, you know what Toll Town is? Deep inside Liberia, in the country. We don't even have seaport. We don't even have ocean. The only kind of big river you got, the Sesto River. And it's about what, maybe 10 miles or so from Toll Town. The only other big river that I got in Toll Town is called TIAWAN. And TIAWAN, in the deepest part of TIAWAN, maybe 5 feet deep. But I used to swim there. I thought it was deeper. And so, I'm from the countryside. And so the fact that I'm from the country, I still got country. I'm countryman. I'm no bogman, I beg you. Countryman. I still got the country in me. You can't take me. You can only take me from the country, but you can't take the country from me. So that's what it is. But here is something interesting. I'm going to play you a video of Dr. Weah when he went out during his country tour. This one video here has captured my imagination of being a real unifier. I'm not, please, let me say this again. The video, the action is something you do to unify people. I'm not too sure if this is what they do in Monrovia, because Monrovia battle cry, they cry to fight. But this one that I'm going to be playing, they're not crying to fight. He's crying to unify people. I'm not too sure why he's not doing this in Monrovia, because in Monrovia, they won't let him do that. Monrovia, that battle cry. Yeah, chop you up. That Monrovia battle cry. But this that I'm going to be playing here this evening, once again, it's a battle cry for unification. This was in his village. And the interesting thing is, I wasn't there, but I'm just interpreting based on what I've seen and what I noticed. Having been away for so long from this particular community, went overseas, went to France, went to Cameroon, France, Italy, and everywhere else for years. But he came back to remind them. I grew up in this village. I grew up with Mount New, and I know how our people, our old folks, used to unify people. Now, let me play that for you. Folks, it's very interesting, very interesting. That's Dr. Weah when he went on the county tour, and I'll continue to play this until, I don't know. But let me play this for you. Let me play this. It's very That's just a very short one. But the reason why I really enjoy this, because those of us that grew up in the villages and all the kinds of places, they have a system. Back in the days, I'm not too sure if they still thing exists, because right now I'm having some serious issue with the people in Town. They don't believe, they don't think that I'm a member of their society anymore. So in fact, some have gone to come out blank and tell me, say, you're not part of us anymore. You're from America now. So don't worry about things. That's how they behave now. So, but those days when I was growing up, I remember quite well. And I'm sure many of you from other countryside, you know this. So they would say, they have a system where in the town, the entire town of Totan, somebody they all individually make their farm. You got your 6 wives, like my father did. You got your 6 wives, you make farm for them. Each of them, that's your job. Nobody gonna say anything. But in the process, if you get hurt making that farm, the entire town is coming to make all of your farm that you intend for all of your 6 wives. Because I remember one time, not too far from Totan, just maybe a couple of 1,000 feet or so from the town, there's a lady, unmarried lady. She was married, but her husband died. So she had hired other family members to do some stuff. And one of the young men, the main person who was doing most of the work on that farm, got hurt, seriously hurt. So when they came, they brought him to town, and the old man K decided to have a meeting. And he's the town crier. He made a call to everybody. And immediately, he made it. Usually, they don't make call 3, 4 o'clock. No, they wait, because usually by 6, 7 o'clock, most of the people that are going to farm will not be coming back to town. But you don't wait until you finish shower until you're in bed before they call you. No, because you'll be too tired. These people are just too smart. So as soon as you come to town, if I'm on your way to town, you will hear the town cry. So Omen K started calling. So he called the people, and they got together and did this kind of battle cry. And he explained to them the reason of him calling, that this person need our help. and they decided to go and finish the farm the same day, next day, of course. Every one of those people that had their own farming to do, they stopped everything and decided. More than 50 or 60 of those farmers decided to go and brush that farm. And who else they carry? They carry with them what they want to call bush fodder. Okay, that's the only. I don't know the English name bush fodder. Well, I say bush fodder. You know what bush fodder is? That your business. Forget it. I can't. I don't know it. It's not in the dictionary. Bush fodder. Somebody help me. What's the name of bush fodder? Please help me. So 6. Yeah, 6 wives, my man. So help me. If you know what a bush fodder is, please help me. But anyway, Samson told, very young at the time, little boy, I decided I want to go brush. But one of the things that I saw that day, I was holding my collar in my hand, doing nothing but watching. The old man who was blowing the horn and singing for these people to brush and give, singing, making them, I don't know, whatever it is, put some string in there, whatever it is. But he would go way out. Look, if you're from the country, there are some things that you saw. And as I'm speaking right now, some of you will have the hair standing on the back of your neck. The old man will go way out and started playing this horn and singing. But he doesn't just singing. He will call your name, the person who he wants you to take the lead. He will call your name. Then he asks a question. Whose son is this that I name that I'm calling? In his song. Who is this person? Who is the father of this young man coming to waste my time here? I'm here calling people. They're brushing, cutting one stick at a time. Who's the mother of this child? Please come get your son from among us. The man is wasting in his song. And you sit there while other people hearing that. Even the wax that can bite people or hurt you when they're in front of you, you just grab it with your hand. You throw it where you want to go to that guy. And I watched that. And these people were, I said, in one day time, they were done. This is a kind of battle cry that will bring people together. Let me play that again. It's very interesting for me because growing up in Town, one of the things that I did, I fought a lot. Fighting was what I did. I love to fight. But at the same time, I pay attention to many of the things that was happening around me. How Town was one of the major towns in our area that they would bring people who fail or who were not able to pay their taxes and things they did to them in our town, in my town. Sometimes I'm embarrassed when I'm driving. I can be ashamed of the way the people were doing it. But they were doing it all in the name of the government. So, but let me go ahead. So when you get that kinds of stuff, you're truly in a spirit of unity. So from that perspective tonight, let us come together. Criticize me, disagree with me. That's okay. But let's do it with respect. This sitting government, we will criticize the government. We will do so with responsibilities. We will criticize the government. We will do so with respect. Because whether we like it or not, he's our president. You cannot tell me that you love Liberia. You cannot tell me that you're advocating for Liberia and the Liberian people to have a good living standard and what have you, but yet still in the process, you'll be disrespectful to the decision, their decision. It was their decision that brought this president to power. The president didn't come to this position through the back door. So you must have the ability to separate by respecting their decision and at the same time criticizing the president based on policy. Don't bring personality into it. It has nothing to do with it. Whether the man snore or not, that's not my problem. Is his policy helpful to our people? If not, let's talk about the policy. How do we improve that policy, if at all we can improve it? Or the policy is a failed policy that doesn't even belong in that place. That's how you approach it. But you don't come in and talk about somebody this and this. Foolishness. That's not what we do here on LIBERIA Public Radio. So let me go on. With that said, let's start the program. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. Let me play this one other song here for you. This is another battle cry. But this one, it's a little bit rough. It's a war battle cry. Back in the days. This guy, Sonny Kusu, was saying to us, the young people, the young progressive at the time, said these people, the European, the American, were asking them to help us at that time. The liberation business was spreading all over. We're asking them to help us to liberate some of our brothers and sisters in Africa. They're not paying that attention. They're talking about constructive engagement. When Hitler came in this place, when Hitler was destroying Europe, they called us. Our parents, our grandparents were willing to die to liberate Europe. Now we're calling them, they're not paying attention. We, Africans, must be willing to sacrifice, to rule ourselves effectively. Let me play that. And I'll go a little bit deeper into my own interpretation. But let's play it.
That was Hitler. He was in Europe. I said that was Hitler. Hitler was in Europe. And this Hitler was practicing apartheid.
Okay, you heard that. So tonight program, definitely if you've been reading, Moneymaker is heavy tonight on my show, eh? Welcome, Moneymaker. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. He's heavy tonight. That's good. But anyhow, tonight's program is about Cllr GONGLOE. I believe Cllr GONGLOE is seeking the higher office. I think he might or he will. I don't know for sure, but I just want to put it out there. So the reason why I'm going to showcase him here tonight is two reasons. One, first of all, he's a progressive, number one. And second, he's been doing this thing here for a very long time. And I'm just saying, in as much as I support Dr. Baka, I don't want any of you that are supporting Dr. Baka to peel away your support, your stay. But those of you that perhaps are still struggling to see which way you want to go, pay attention. Look at all of the candidates. And those candidates that are willing to take your question, use that opportunity to get some answer, some of the things you're looking for in a candidate. Must he, Cllr, must he be the president? Is that the only way he will be able to solve some of Liberia's age-old problems? Those are the kinds of questions that I have in there. But before that, quite recently, now let me go do this here now. Quite recently, the Cllr was on air questioning Dr. WEAH and the money Dr. WEAH has amassed since coming to power. Any sensible person will recognize that. There's some juicy explanations. You will not believe some of the explanations that are out there. But immediately after the president's inauguration, the president decided to build huge, many mansions. Many mansions. And so that brought the question from the Cllr, asking Dr. WEAH, in a sense, to tell us what is the source of funding to fund these projects. Why was it not? Why did he not do those things when he was private citizen or even a senator? How is it that immediately after taking office, first he refused to declare access, and immediately before declaring access, he's already started those projects? Where the money come from? So he's saying that Dr. Weah to find the courage and explain to Liberians. He's not accusing Dr. Weah of stealing or anything like that. He's simply saying Dr. Weah need to come and tell us. And it's very interesting, very interesting. Let me show you some of the issue here that the counselor is making. Right here. See some of the building here. These are buildings that was built immediately after the inauguration. Where the money coming from? I'm sure Dr. Weah most likely can justify that. But you are in position of leadership of a country. People elected you. Explain to us where this money coming from. And then some of you might, oh, the election issue, the people trying to make this thing the election issue. Well, how true of it? How true is this that Councillor GONGLOE is making this into an election issue? I don't think so. I think it's a fair question. Many of us have asked these questions and wanted to know what was happening. Let me go a little bit deeper into that. Let me go a little bit and show. I have lots of videos, but I'm not going to show you in length all of the video. I'm not going to do that. I mean, all of the property that we're talking about, show you, because I have the video to show. I can show you one at a time, but that's not about it. I'm not going to do that, because if I do that, I will be politicizing this question, which is a question that none of us should use that as a political weapon against Dr. Weah. He's our president, and he's in charge of our economy. He's in charge of our resources. So if he comes to power, and in less than 6 months, these projects start being erected, projects that are more than $100 million, where does he get that kind of money from? Well, I was out here, if you remember, some time ago, I justified myself. I said, fine, he could come out to say, 11 people credit me the money. Are they LPA? So what? You know, but he cannot remain mute on this. And as election get closer, if he's remain mute on this, then I think he's asking people to utilize that and politicize the issue. And many Liberians will gravitate towards that, because you're not giving them any kinds of explanation. Let's look at this other one. Let's look at this other one. Yeah. And that's all that I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you anything else. This is what I'm going to, that's how much I'm going to show you. Just 2 seconds. 2 seconds said too much. I'm not going to show you anymore. Okay? I'm not going to show you anymore. Let me show you one more time. And it's just going to go phew. All you need to see is see the building, and you will recognize it. But I'm not going to show you each one of those, because I do have a video, tons of video of that property. But I'm not going to do that, because then it's like I'm trying to politicize, as I said before. I want people to ask, even sedition, they're supported themselves. They themselves can ask questions. Okay, Chief, tell the people where the money come from. We know when he was playing football, he was making money, tons of money. He was wrecking the bank, tons of money, not illegally, legal money. At the end of a play day or after the game, they put money in his account. So we know he has lots of money, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. We know that. But here's the interesting thing. During his candidacy for the senatorial election, he did some declaration. And the money he had at the time, according to the declaration he sent out, it's not enough to give us this type of property. It's not. Even with him from the time he won the senatorial seat to the time he started erecting it, there's not enough time in between for you to be able to amass that kinds of money. So the question the councillor is asking is legitimate. Of course, he's a politician, but the question is legitimate. So I think the president and his supporters, you guys need to seriously take this not into the political arena, take it out of it. If you want the Liberian people to believe you, take it out of the political arena and address the head on. Simple. Okay? Let me just play this again for you one more time. Just one more time. It's gonna, be careful because it's gonna go lightning. If you don't pay attention to it, you'll not see it. It's gonna go and that's it. And this is the last time I'm gonna be showing it. Like I said, I'm not gonna be showing you all of it. When I keep saying to you that come the election, I have binder for the error. CDC and this president binder for the policy error. Let me say that again. Policy error. I'm not one of those who go below the belt. That's none of my business. What he does with his personal life is none of my business. He's my president. He's my president. As long as he continues to breathe and make sure that Liberians are safe, he's my president. I will criticize him on policy and policy only. What, in fact, let me be ridiculous. Policy that I know. I'm not going to sit here and try to criticize financial policy when I have no clue on that. I'll be talking a bunch of you know what. But policy in terms of road construction, in terms of design roads, in terms of engineering, I can go to electrical engineering too. I can do a little bit of that. But in terms of area that I have no clue on, I'm going to criticize based on what I'm reading. And so if sedition put me on the back of the wall, it's okay, you say and they bring a heavyweight, their financial person, and I start criticizing based on what I've been reading, and they bring their political financial heavyweight and say, okay, start. Then I'll tell the person they show over. What are you going to do to me? You hate my hate what are you doing? I say show over. But in area that I know, I will contribute heavily. So once again, let me play this. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. Just gonna go boom, and that's it. I'm not gonna touch it after that the rest of the night. Let's play it. Let's play it. Here it goes. That's it. That's it. No more. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on. Samson told Liberian Public Radio, and let's go on. Let's go on with Councillor GONGLOE. So this is Councillor GONGLOE, okay? And I'm going to be doing something here, okay? Maki, you know me. Anybody can say what they want to say about me. It don't move me. I know who I am. Whatever. But no, on a very serious note, let me read some article that was written some time ago about the councillor. And this person went into a historical background of the councillor. So who is this councillor here? Who is he? Is he one of those who want to be president? Because the party he's leading was at one time was standard bearer, Dr. Marcus Down. I believe Marcus Matthew at one time. So this is a progressive whatchamacallit. So, but let's read. Let me read to you about the councillor. Okay, it's going to be a while. So if you have something to do, you want to excuse yourself, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. If you want to stay with us, stay with us. Now, I'm reading this thing not because I am a supporter of the councillor. I sympathize. I'm one of the sympathizers. I hope you have the ability, and this is who I am. I also have the ability to compartmentalize things. So I can, you know what I'm saying? I can take what I want out of what I need and put it together and put it like a suitcase. I have the ability to do that. Okay. Okay. So let me read on. Let me read on. Okay, so this article was written back in 2021, December 7, 2021. In fact, December 7, that was when Japanese attacked the U.S. But it was written by Kawi, analyst. Okay, Liberia is, and I'm reading now. Liberia is a nation state cursed with bad leadership. In fact, let me read the title. He said, "Why TIAWAN S. GONGLOE is best suited candidate for president." Okay, the bulk of the problem the country is facing today can be tied to the crop of leaders. Any dispute the criticism, and despite the criticism and activism of some noble Liberian activists and critics, their efforts have net translated to a sense to lead or change or need to raise the challenges in the country. In a time when people are better off as armchair critics and activists, Councillor TIAWAN S. GONGLOE, one of Liberia's astute human rights lawyers, most vocal activist for the rule of law, has taken his agitation beyond the call for change. He has taken up the challenge to bring about the change he wants to see in Liberia. I wish many of us would do that. There are only a few people that can do those kind of stuff. When people write about Liberia problems, they conclude that the problems are impossible. So some other believe that the youth need to raise to the task and take a matter to solve Liberia's problem. However, it is often never goes beyond the discussion level. Election comes and go, and we recycle the same set of leaders with the same problems, premises. Not, I'm not going to say that one. Okay, and perhaps just a switch of political party from the Unity Party and her coalition CPP and a Congress for Democratic Change and her coalition CDC or vice versa. The coalition, the same people, and the singular ambition of converting politics to cryptocratic. Okay. Councillor TIAWAN GONGLOE, poor man lawyers. Mark that word now. That's the main thing I want you to take out of it. Poor man lawyer. This name has stuck onto the councillor. And it not just that. The councillor have done some wonderful, wonderful thing in terms of defending people who do not have the money. As a result, people call him poor man lawyer. Okay, so let's take this is the first time this guy have used this. Councillor GONGLOE, poor man lawyers, as he is affectionately called by Liberians, is a gentle giant. His acceptance to run as a presidential candidate in the 2023 election on the Liberian People's Party ticket is a breath of fresh air, this guy is saying. The Liberian People's Parties were formed in 1984. Councillor GONGLOE is not new to the governance. A change propelled and people focused of government. The earliest memories of Councillor GONGLOE stepping into politics. This thing is too small. If I make it big, it will go away from me. Well, politics come from his days as a student in San Cllr, Nima County. In 1976, he joined the Movement for Justice, MOJA, a Pan-African political organization in Liberia. Before 1976, he was a member of the Young Christian Student Movement, which was a Catholic pastoral student organization with a mentor, C. Judge and Ite, promoting and creating awareness within the student population which someone sought in his mind to be converted about what was happening around him. Jesus, this is so small. When he entered the University of Liberia, formerly called UL or LU, he joined the Vanguard Student Unification. Yeah, here we go again. Joined that student organization, party power, unlike them. Arguably the most organized and potent political force in Liberia at the time. By 1978, he has been groomed sufficiently under the late James Loken as chairman at the University of Liberia. The intellectual discourse was a very good avenue for creating awareness among the student population on what was happening in the country. He also became a member of the editorial staff of the university spokesman, the fearless news organ in the country. As president of the NIMA Student Association at UL, GONGLOE proved that he got his mandate from the people, the student, and would therefore be loyal to those who trusted him with the mandate. He and his colleagues focused on advocating for the truth and better citizen welfare, which caused him arrest and detention as a student. Why am I doing this here? I'm going to continue to read it, but why am I doing this, folks? I want you to understand when people join into these things here, they say, oh, I want to be president. I want to be president. You need to understand who they are. What are some of the things that make them tick? What have they done before? And this is why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it to promote Councillor GONGLOE presidencies or whatever it is that or candidacy or whatever it is that he's doing. I'm telling you, this is the platform where we're very truthful with one another. I'm giving you the truth. This was written by another person. So everything that I'm reading here, if you know they're not true, say so. But I'm just telling the man, a Liberian, that will ask the sitting president of the Republic of Liberia to say, tell us where you get your money from. Who is he? Is this the first time challenging the authorities? This is why I want people, because there are other people out there who start writing already. I read it, some of their comment today. Oh, the man, y'all want to be president? Why are you writing the kind of thing? Why are you asking? You want to be relevant? Relevance? So because of those kinds of sentiment that is out there, oh, he just want to be relevant. I decided to do a little bit of research on this person you claim want to be relevant. And I'm reading to you back in the 70s. Is that the kind of person that want to be relevant up to this time? You know, when you read some of these articles and stuff like that, do yourself a favor. Divorce your emotion out of these things. Yeah, it's difficult to do because every word is emotional most of the time. So for me to say divorce your emotion out of it is easy said and done. But to be honest with you, because if you pour yourself back and just read the article based on what is being written, and then once you're done, you analyze. And the analyzing process of any article, for me, it's not just to come out with what you want to say. First, you read it with understanding. Second, for me, you pick out the words, the key words in that article that convey the person's message. And then, based on those process that you have just done by determining which word is conveying certain message, once that is done, you take those same words and try to say, okay, why is he saying this? Can I go a little bit deeper into that? Once you're done with all of that, and then you can come back and say, okay, well, based on all my things that I've done and based on my understanding, this is what I think this man is doing this. But you cannot just get up and say this man want to be relevant. And because a few people said that, and because of that, I decided to do this. I'm not doing it because I want him to be president, but I'm doing it so that we all, those of us that are going to criticize, if at all we're going to criticize the good counselor, we should do so from the perspective of understanding who he is. And if you have a clear understanding who he is, then perhaps your criticism will follow a thread that is much more credible. And I'll go back to the article, please. And let me just say credibility. Let me give you a few examples of what I believe if you're engaging in this Liberian politics. What are some of the things that I consider to be credible? I'll use two examples. Many of you know this young man, Carrasco, who is, I believe, is an aide to the president. He writes well, he speaks well. I believe he's also an educated person. And you have my good friend, and I affectionately call him CDC professor, Professor Cllr. Two people that I'm going to tell you my way of determining who's credible. Professor Cllr used to work here in the United States, making good living before CDC came to power. Carrasco, on the other hand, from the pictures and all of the things that I have read about him, didn't have anything much, just like any one of us, struggling. But he was in Liberia. The professor decided to go back to Liberia to work in this government and improve the lives of our citizens, improve the lives of our brothers and sisters. And so for me, when he comes back, and I tend to challenge him, but challenging him intellectually, I enjoy it. And therefore, when I'm approaching the professor, I try to do my research and make sure that I'm on point. Because other than that, he would take me to the cleaner. Because he's much, much more credible in defending this government as opposed to Carrasco. Carrasco defense of this government, whatever the government is doing, his defense actually hang on to stay there and enjoy what he's enjoying now. So for me, his defense is not credible. And in fact, besides that, they're not even doing a good job of it. I saw a video a few days ago between him and Smith Toby over there on Ralphie Highway. None of them have any clue of what they're doing over there. You want to talk about Ralphie Highway? Speak on the policy. Stay out of the construction, the design, what have you, because you don't know what you're talking about. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm going to be discussing here. For me, that's how you build credibility. And so once again, let's go back to the counselor. His question is asking the president to be truthful with the Liberian people, to tell them where he get his money from to build his mansion. It's credible. You know, back home, the people say, well, even here today, they say, you know, the car flower eating before the car ear got caught or something like that. That's him. He was making living before CDC came to power. So it's not like he's trying to destroy somebody because he wants something. That's credibility. Let's go back. Let me go back. Let me go back to read this. And just stay with me. Those of you who care to stay with me. Okay, this thing is okay. By 1978, he has grown, okay, blah, blah, blah. James Lokin, the intellectual editor, blah, blah. He also became a member of the editorial, blah, blah. As president of NIMA, blah, blah, blah. I read that already. Okay. He and his colleagues focus on advocating for the, okay, I read it. Unfortunately, unavoidable advocacy who dare to liberate the nation from corrupt leaders and internal strife will always face prosecution. As an activist, they're talking about a counselor now, as an activist and advocate who has not faced prosecution need to rethink their activism and advocacy. The guy who's telling you who wrote this, he's telling you now, mind you, don't open your mouth say he Costa. Don't open your mouth say this, that person. You don't know what these people have gone through. The government of Liberia, not just this government, any of past government, they don't like criticism. And when you criticize them or say something that they don't like, they put the power of their power weight on you by prosecuting you. So this guy is telling you, if you haven't done it before, be careful. This is not the case of a strife militant. The practice and deeds of advocacy attract hatred, intermediate, and imprisonment, especially from the ruling class, such as the fate of those who choose to challenge the status quo should always remember. Doubt this. Let them think of our port. I know many of you have heard, many of you, most likely, majority of this generation never even saw Albert Port. Don't even know who he is, most of them. But Albert Port used to be one of the, there's a story about him that every time walking down, I saw him plenty of times, but I didn't see the mat. That's what I was looking for. The story was every time walking around Montreal, he got a mat on his arm because every time anytime they will arrest him and put him to jail so he can get something to sleep on. But anyway, Albert Port, okay, he went on to name a few other people here. All these men were prosecuted, incarcerated, tortured, and some were even killed. Another thing that they have in common is that in the face of intense oppression, they never fail to speak and fight for the people's rights. TIAWAN GONGLOE has faced similar persecution in the hands of the government. Not once, not twice. People focus advocacy is intent for GONGLOE. In other words, his advocacy is not just to benefit himself. He put his people before himself. I'm just reading an article. So please don't say, well, I'm just reading an article. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So let me go back to that. These things are what flow in his vein. He has always been like that, never able to keep quiet in the face of oppression and continue rising to the occasion. TIAWAN GONGLOE, poor man lawyers, has been advocating good governance since the 1970s. He's been doing it even before Dr. WEAH became man. So please spare me. Spare me when he asks this question. Let's give the president a chance to see if he can respond effectively and honestly. Because the consular question is very honest. And he's not doing it, I believe. He's not doing it just because he wants to be president. Every one of us like to know. Except some of us, like me, so coward, we ain't able to open our mouth to say something. And for me, said the way I'm reading the thing, I say, I scared, say, hey, I come and go to LIBERIA, I scared, say. But these people, men like this, he's not afraid. Not that he doesn't want to live. He wants to live. And I will read that part later. He wants to live. But at the same time, his conscience cannot allow him to sit down because he wants to live to see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brothers and sisters of his to be mistreated because he wants to live. Knowing full well he can say something. Say so. Say so. And this is why many of you, when I talk about Costa, oh, Costa, like your son. No, there's many things Costa does that I don't like. But the mere fact that he continued to talk about things that we all know, that many of us would like to see reverse. The ills, not just the government, but past government. And this government continued to repeat those kinds of stuff. Those are things that this young man, Costa, also talking about. So when these things are happening, some of us, people like me, scary man like myself, I say, yo, man. But these people, not that they don't want to live, but they just cannot sit down for one person. Samson told from Told Town his right to be violated. Then what is the purpose of education? What is the purpose of you understanding the legal mind? And this concept, let me put this thing down a little bit. Let me deal with many of these things that are going through my mind. This concept is in a position that I envious his position, to be honest with you. To be honest with you. To be this smart in terms of law, where the Constitution, he says, daily bread, where he understands about complete how human rights, according to the Liberian Constitution, what are some of the word languages they use to describe how Liberians should be free. He got that clearly. So for him to sit down and somebody mango those things, it pains him. And let's go back. Let me go a little bit where many of you will understand. Dr. WEAH, a professional football player. And I bet you when he sits in his chair and watching some of these games, and some player start ringing bell, or some players when he's supposed to pass don't want to pass. And I bet you that why will you do that? He asked that question because he knows when the ball's supposed to leave to go to certain place. That's why making a technical advisor. It's the same thing with this man. He's a legal technical advisor because he knows exactly what are some of the laws that help us to stay alive. And when those laws that are supposed to help us has been violated by people who believe we don't know anything, he knows. And then he comes out and says, my goodness, because I want to live, then what is the purpose of me studying the law? If I cannot speak, if I cannot say anything, then who am I? And I'll be ridiculous. Maybe that's why they consider so skinny like this. Because when he eats something, he think about, oh yeah, people now violating children right into the, then the fool run away. But look at me. Do I know that somebody who worry about what my little brother Alfonso so right get abused? Who cares? Hey, I don't know anything about the law. But he does on a very serious note. And so when these things are happening, it pains him, I believe. And so when these people come and question, when they come out and question, don't just blow it off. Don't just think, oh, the man just want relevant my foot. This, he was a very young person when he started teaching people how to respect the law, the rule and law and order, man. If the man in America, I think he myself are going to fall apart because I think you're going to go and Alfonso then become a law and order man, conservative. But I'm glad he's in Liberia. No, but on a very serious note, do you see the point? You guys get the point that I'm making? You know something. It's just like this. You're teaching your son how to read and write. And you know how these things are done. And your son started doing stuff like that. Yeah, we go, people. Yeah, because I'm saying, look, I will be truthful, my people. I will be truthful, and sometimes y'all will get there with me. But I'm like, oh, you ain't paying my ain't paying more. Nothing you will do to me. It will take you 3 to 4 days just to cook my skin. I got elephant skin. Yeah, I'm very thick. You can't do nothing to me. But let's go back. So the point here, is the point that I'm making. The reason why I decided to do this thing is not, let me say it again, it's not to promote his candidacy. Far from it. Far from it. In the process, if it's going to benefit you, so be it. I'm not going to say, like I said, I have the ability to compartmentalize stuff. I'm not going to sit here because, oh, well, if I say this is going to benefit you, and since I support Dr. Baka, no, I'm not going to do that. Then I'm going to be unfair, and I'm going to be somebody who will not sleep good tonight. But I say it, whether it benefit him or not, I am truthful. I will be free when I go to sleep tonight. I will snow just like, oh, baby, can snow. And also, please don't open your mouth anything I do not beg you. Let me enjoy myself. Don't come bringing all kind of talk. But anyway, so once again, bear with me. Let's go back to reading this thing. So I'm doing this thing here on a very serious note. I'm doing this thing here so you will understand that when people come in and make comments, don't just defend the undefensible. Those that you cannot defend. Undefensible or indefensible, whatever. Well, I don't care. At this point, I'm from total. You all know book. I don't know nothing. But anyhow, let me just make this point, please. After I'm finished it, then I'll get back to that to the houses issue. Let me read on. It's a little bit long, but let me read on. I'm almost done. Almost done. A little bit long, but let me just do it. Okay. Now those okay. Blah blah blah. Liberian familiar with the national political environment in the 70s will remember the protests of students against the government of President William Taba. These protests were ignited as a result of the marginalization of Liberian citizens from the political and social economic aspects of society. In their typical repressive nature, the government arrested and tortured some of the student leaders, while some other protesters lost their lives to the cause. Now, these protests were not fueled by demand of personal gain or recognition. Let me read that again. And this especially applied to the concept. Let me read that again. Why some of the protesters lost their lives. Now, these protests were not fueled by demand of personal gain or recognition, but from an innate push to act. On August 22nd, 1984, the University of Liberia students protested the arrest of Professor Edmund Sawyer, one of our lion of the progressive wing. I say so. Okay. Before his arrest, Professor Sawyer had criticized the head of state, Samuel Doe. Doe was confronted by what he called the gross disrespect, according to him, by university administrators and students, and ordered his Minister of Defense, Major General Gray D. Allison, to the campus to stop the demonstrators. The waves of looting, flocking, and rape that followed left the campus community stunned for years. As a teacher assistant, remember now, I told you he was a teacher assistant. GONGLOE was stripped naked and severely beaten by the soldiers after attempting to protect an elderly female staff of the University of Liberia during the soldier onslaught. And you say he's looking for relevance? You're going to tell me that considered GONGLOE by Ice King, the president, to tell the Liberian people what the funding, what is the funding sources of building the mansions that he didn't build until he became president. And you're telling me he's seeking relevance in the Liberian political arena? Let me read on. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But you're not entitled to your own facts. You're not entitled to your own facts. Just as you're entitled to your opinion, I also, on the other hand, entitled to my opinion. I'm not claiming it to be facts. You have the right to disagree. Let's go on. This is unacceptable. You know, one of my friends, and I will call his name, Armo Nyano, Willow Nyano to be specific, he used to say this. When he was president of Grand Jury Association, people used to criticize. He said the criticism yourself, Samson, doesn't bother me because I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. And I have evidence. I have tons of evidence to show that I'm not taking anything what these people are accusing me of. So I'm not worried about it. But what bothers me, he says, many of you know my character. Many of you know who I am. But yet still you sit here and say nothing. Not in my defense, but you sit here and say nothing. That means not only are you in agreement with what these people are saying about me, but all of that have been shown in your presence as colleagues. All that is in vain. Because whenever we get together, I do things right. And you guys would tell me that you're doing it right. Not because you love me or not because I'm your friend. I also examine myself. I don't just take your word for it and say, oh, Samson say I'm doing things right. But if you're going to sit there without raising any ink from your pen about what these people are saying, then what is the purpose of knowing my character, knowing me? And when I after that conversation, I thought to myself, yeah, Mr. Nyano is right. Because many of us used to do like the Democrat. Oh, the people know exactly. Nyano been doing good all the time. What? I not said about writing. Who care about it? No, it's not that. It's about the response. Not necessarily foot to foot or pen to pen. No. But in your response, you say who you know, how you know, and what you know about Mr. Nyano. Not necessarily trying to dispel whatever that has been written, but you come out and say what you know about the character of Mr. Nyano. And it's the same thing here. When I read the article and I started reading some of the comments, what really got me was the point. And then I just reflected back to my conversation with Mr. Nyano. And I said, no, I'm going to look into it. I'm sure there are some papers out there that will tell us who this man is. And as God could have it, I came across this paper. And once I have it, I'm going to make it public. I said, I'm going to read it. And this is what the show is about tonight. My show tonight is about me reading. For me, after reading these things, unless many of you, my age group, his age group, you know exactly who he is. Okay? So we have to say the truth. It doesn't matter whether the truth hurts you or not. Let it be the truth. And let God be our judge. The question he asked, and the question is quite in place. For me, when I view that question, I did not view that question as being politicizing the economy of the country. I did not view that question as being saying that he's been condescending to the president. I did not view that question as though the president has no knowledge in terms of education or whatever. I didn't even look at it like that. I look at that question when he asked the president, what are the sources of your funding of all of the construction? You are president of the Republic of Liberia, not a banana republic. You are the president of the Republic of Liberia. Many of you probably don't even know this. But if you go back, go back to how do you call it, Moru liquor talk, and I'm not going to go into the other stuff. The one word, one phrase I want to take out of it. He said, Ambassador WEAH will go out to foreign country and beg for Liberia. Whatever he said after that, that's not what I want to say. That's not what I want. But you also know that this president goes to different countries and asks on behalf of the country of Liberia to help. And many of these people will help. So if they're helping to bring in money, does that give the president the right to use it any way he wants? I don't think so. But here's the interesting thing, and it's very sad that many of you around the president are not even doing him a favor. This is one of the time, if you have not had this president to shine, because guess what? Whether you like it or not, Councillor GONGLOE is not going away. And this question he asked today, if you don't address this now, people will politicize it, and then it becomes politics as usual. And they can wrap it around your neck. And Liberian people will gravitate towards that. Yeah. Let me give you an example. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, he even Belfast and say he got one house on single 9th Street. He ain't say, oh, the house leak. He said he didn't do anything. When he was senator, he didn't do nothing. He president one day before we lost 6 months, he was begging, said, where you got the money from? Liberian politics. And so if you are a credible person around this president, this is the time. Use this opportunity that Councillor GONGLOE has provided for you to tell the Liberian people once and for all where the money come from. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Because if you're not truthful and another government comes in, they will utilize that statement in the auditing process. Don't say it's not your business. You can't say that. You can't say that. And like Moru explanation. You want Dr. WEAH to, and it's on there. Go look it up. And I'm just paraphrasing, but a little bit quoting. You want Dr. WEAH to invest on a Madam Sally when things were not safe. So why you want him to invest? That's Moru explanation about these machines. That there was no reason for Dr. WEAH to invest, to build on Madam Sally because things were not safe. Madam Sally was oppressed. She was an oppressor. And so no reason for Dr. WEAH to invest. But now that things are safe on Dr. WEAH, it's now ready now to invest. Are you sure? That's okay. A plausible explanation, acceptable. But let's go deeper than that. What is the source funding of your investment? Is it your stock money, stock market? Because the reason they can't ask me that kind of question. If I go to Liberia right now, build mansion upon mansion upon mansion, the only thing the government can ask me, the government have the right to ask me where you get money from. And I have to show where I get the money from. Hopefully, they know that it's not going to be a drug money. But now with the president is in charge of all the money that comes into the country. You think you want to fool yourself? Minister of Finance, who in charge of Minister of Finance? Is it not part of the executive? So please, spare me this. It's unacceptable. Any one of you that will come out and give this flimsy explanation, you're not doing the president a favor, and you're putting the president deeper. Let me read on. Character. Character. Character of a human being is very important. Character of a human being is very important. So let's go on. Okay. They sent people there in the house. They whooped Councillor GONGLOE. He was hospitalized at SD Cooper Hospital and was treated. After the raid, he was sacked from the University of Liberia by the military junta. For Councillor GONGLOE, poor man lawyer. I told you guys when I first used that word, I told you how to mark it. A poor man lawyer. Poor man lawyer. Activism can take different form, and one which he has been deploying upon his return to Liberia from the UN is the respect for rule of law. Respect for rule of law. Because yeah, my man, you're something else. Oh, look at it this way. Let me put it in the form that I know. I know how to eat kasali. I know how to swallow geba. Then I invite somebody. I invite some Nigerian man to come swallow geba with me. And the geba is swallowing right now. You cut it, you put it in the soup, rub it around, and your 2-3 fingers, you grab the meat and pull it along with the geba and swallow it. The geba going down, the meat stay in your mouth, you start chewing. You know what you're doing. You tell that Nigerian man, he tell the soup, he tell the geba, cut big one, jump in the soup, go all around the soup. And you look at him, what are you doing now, my man? Wait. Then he even put a geba in your mouth. He put no meat in your mouth. He tell the soup and stop licking your hand. Then he put your hand back. Yeah, he said, my man, what are you doing? You see what I'm talking about? It's the same thing with a counselor. You heard here when he came back from the UN. And I'm not making fun. I'm giving you these analyses, not just to make fun, but I want you to understand it. Okay? When he came back from the UN, the respect for rule of law was in him. He's a lawyer. What is the definition? What lawyer? What do they do? They brush farm? No. They play with law books. And what is law book? What is it dealing with? The Constitution. And what is the main purpose of the Constitution? To make sure people are governed correctly. That's Constitution. The rule. It tells you how you're supposed to live as a nation. It tells you how you're supposed to live as a citizen of the nation. What are the rules that apply to you? And this constitution knows this rule. He knows these things. And so if you turn around and start violating somebody right, he said, no, this is wrong because it's hurting you. He knows you're not supposed to do it, but you're doing it because you get power. Then if the man asks a question, and even in that question, or in that asking question, he went a little bit deeper. He said, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, the Liberian people are entitled to be informed of what is happening with their resources and everything else. My goodness. And you say the man's looking for relevance? I'm not going to sit here and try to argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and say this man is not. No. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you the other side of the character of who they say he is. I'm just reading. Now, let me go back to one conversation that I had with him. If I were to come here tonight and strictly argue to the contrary of what you guys been putting out, how this man was seeking relevance in this political arena, and say, no, he's not. Oh, he's a very smart man. You know the law, blah, blah, all kind of stuff. Yes, I'm arguing, but it's not that. First, what I want you to do is to understand the character of this man who is questioning our president, my president of the Republic of Liberia. What is his character? What is the character? They said, man, does he even have record of helping anybody? Let alone talk about the president, where you got money from their business? That's the kind of question that I would have asked. But I want you to see for yourself and read and be what. This thing is, you go on YouTube, you'll find. You go on Google, you'll find it. And I'm just reading for you. Not so much of trying to defend whatever the question he asked. But first, before I even come to the defense, let me give you his character to say, who is he? Why is he asking a question? And that's what I'm going through with the Kisa, with the Doma, so those of us that swallow giver, so we will understand. Because you don't just get and come from Nigeria and go swallow giver in Grand or Nibakande. It don't work like that. You got to know how to swallow the giver. You eat it, not for your stomach. But if you swallow and know how to swallow the giver, you not only will you fill your stomach, but you will enjoy swallowing the giver because you know how to swallow the giver. Does it make sense? That's the liberal progressive. I'm on it. Let's go. I'm almost done. So the point now is this. Who is he? Okay. So the St. Allison, blah, blah, blah. For Councillor GONGLOE, poor man lawyer, activist, take different form and one which he has been deploying upon his return, blah, 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 the rule of law. The rule of law is a powerful tool for change. It is the tool that is used in activism against repressive and backward government. The rule of law. The rule of law. And so once again, to those who are going to be defending the president, you have to do it within the confines of the rule of law. If you miss that step, you will not only be doing yourself a disservice, but people like me will call you out and say you are intellectually dishonest. As simple as that. Because if you don't apply the rule of law in your defense in this process, then you're not serious. Let's go on. Okay. The rule of law is a powerful tool for change. It is the tool that is used in activities against repressive and backward government. Sadly, this tool often falls into the hands of the powerful, the nation leader. In 1997, Charles Taylor was elected as the 22nd president of Liberia. TIAWAN GONGLOE, poor man's lawyer, defender, journalist, political activist, and the downtrodden during the top Charles Taylor dictatorial regime. You see that? So he's not just somebody who Johnny come lately in his asking you question. He started 18 job. We are not even playing Cllr Town yet. I bet you when he started in job, we are most likely was still in South Town. So he's not Johnny come lately for you to come out to say that he's seeking relevance. It's your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Okay, let's go ahead. I will soon finish. I'm almost done. Okay. Okay, poor man lawyer. He was very outspoken about human rights violation and abuse by the Liberian security forces under Charles Taylor. In March of 2002, GONGLOE was arrested by Charles Taylor regime in connection with the speech he had delivered in Guinea, wherein he had discussed the role of civil society in achieving peace in the Mana River Union. GONGLOE was beaten severely throughout the night of his arrest and subject to death threats. He was then taken to Cllr Hospital as a result of injury sustained from the beating. He suffered from loss of hearing in his left ear. This person must be really close to the counselor to know his character. To say the left ear and he know the kind of ear where he's suffering from, and that person he must be close. Okay, let me read on. A swollen and bloody left eye, severe bruise all over his body, and intense internal pain. GONGLOE was charged with no offense, even though he was tortured and detained without Cllr regime promptly informing him all the world of the charges against him as mentored by the international law. GONGLOE was again detained by the Cllr security forces for several hours on May 12, 2002 at Robert Field Airport, where he tried to board on the plane to Sierra Leone to participate as an election observer for the Carter Center election observer team. Upon his release, Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International secured GONGLOE and his family out of Liberia after fearing his rearrest and torture as one of Liberia's fearless and human rights lawyers. Upon his arrival in the United States, GONGLOE was accepted at the Harvard School of Government in Massachusetts as a fellow at the renowned Carter Center Human Rights Policy at the Howard University, where he took on examining the failures of the Liberian judiciary system and the role of the justice system in contributing to the failed state. Ah, yes. Education that good. If you know, you know. If you know, you are good to be educated because nobody can fool you. That's who he is. Let's go on. Let's go on. Okay. TIAWAN say GONGLOE, poor man's lawyer, was honored as a 2003 Human Rights Watch defender for his courage and bravery among many awards he will receive over the years. Excuse me. It's good to do these things, you know, on a Friday afternoon like this. It's good to do these things because, to be honest with you, many of you most likely have not even read the article that I'm talking about, or many of you read it from a perspective of being against. Yeah, the man asking question now, and let Joby tell now where you get money from, where you get money to build this thing. Or many of you read it like the other people, but who are you to come ask the president? The president be how he like brother what he steal money. So those, but I'm coming at this thing here from a different perspective. First, I'm not even addressing the question yet. I'm saying I'm reading to you. But you see, this is what you need to do. The man asks this question, even if you're not in favor of this asking this question, who is he? What do you know about him? Is this question being asked from a jealous standpoint? From an envious position? Is this question being asked because he wants to be president? Or this question is it being asked based on his own experience, life experience, in connection with the rule of law in Liberia? The president mandated all of his cabinet ministers to come out with an asset declaration. Remember, for months, the press were climbing all over, asking the president for asset declaration. He didn't declare anything until he started building his mansion there, before he started declaring. So why would we not have that kinds of people? I don't have the stomach to ask the president. I'm too scared. But here is the brave man asking this question. He's saying to many of us, the cowards among us, and I'm one of those, he's saying to us, I, like you, want to live. That sound like who? You know who that is? That sound like? You know who that sound like? I, like you, want to live. Martin Luther King. Oh my goodness, we have this before. But he's saying to us, I, like you, want to live. But what good it is to live among you when I know, based on my training, based on what I know with respect to the Liberian law and the Constitution, that your right is being violated. And I'm not going to sit here and not say anything. I want to live. I don't want no harm to come to me, but I'll be truthful. Folks, do us a favor. Do your own research. Don't just take it from me. Let me read on. It's a long, oh, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Okay. Okay. So let me, this is a juicy part here now. Okay. Poor man lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. UP winning the 2005 election, Ellen Saliv appointed TIAWAN GONGLOE, poor man's lawyer, as Liberia's first conflict solicitor general as Minister of Justice and Liberia. What, I don't know. Chief prosecutor, he promoted the rule of law and assist. Now watch this and listen to this. Listen to this. This is one of the reasons I wanted to read this. This goes deeper into his character this evening. It goes deeper into his character. Listen to this. And I'm just reading these things here. You can go and read it yourself. Okay. Chief prosecutor, he promoted the rule of law and assist his colleagues through training to enable them to cope with the time, speed, and technology that the law practice demanded as Liberian transition from war to peace. He's not taking us back to war. He's taking us from war to peace. And since he was trained here in the United States and went back, he decided, okay, the war just finished. Most of the good lawyers and what have you, they're all out scattered all over the world. Those of us that are here now, and the young people that are here, and people who decide to come back, let me help them understand how this thing is supposed to be done so that we all will be on the same page. And this is the man you accuse of seeking relevance. Seeking relevance in this political arena. I'm going to make my conclusion to your statement, but I'm not done yet. So then just hold on. Okay? He decided to go and teach his colleagues, okay, for peace. Peace and decentralization. As Minister of Labor, he worked tirelessly in putting in action the liberation policy to benefit Liberians and Liberia in general. GONGLOE, as a permanent human rights lawyer, questioned the nepotism. Yeah, we go. Yeah, we go. You want to question? You want to say that this man seeking relevances in this political arena? He was a minister, labor minister. What's his name? Wilson? Zoka Wilson position now? Okay. He said, nepotism. Question the nepotism in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf-led government after she appointed her sons and relatives in high-profile government positions, as well as her massive failure to transform Liberia, as was promised by her during the 2005 election. He resigned as Minister of Labor, and when President Sirleaf appointed him as Minister of Posts and Telecommunication, he declined her appointment. On November 23rd, 2018, Councillor Gonzo was elected as president of the Liberian National Bar Association. Folks, that's how far I'm going to stop. Before I say anything else, I played a music here for you earlier. And the music by Sonny Kusu. And many of you don't even know who he is. Or who he was, because he's dead now. But Sonny Kusu is a Nigerian singer. And most of his songs, he came from the church background. But most of his song was revolutionary song. And some of us, those of us that consider ourselves the foot soldier of the progressive those days, we rebels in these kinds of music. But listen to this. Listen to this. In the lyrics of music, it says, we're asking them to help us liberate our brothers and sisters. And they're telling us construction engagement, a constructive engagement. That was a term that was used here on Ronald Reagan to engage the South African government, the apartheid government. They say constructive engagement. Instead of them say stop it, you stop it. They don't want to do it. So he's saying when Hitler came to Germany, and started going from country to country in Europe, destroying, killing, you call on us, African, to come and help you liberate your country. Our parents, our uncles, and everyone else were willing to go there to die for your liberation. We're asking you, and you don't want to pay attention to us. Let me play that, and I'll come back and wrap these things up.
That was Hitler. He was in Europe. I said that was Hitler. Hitler was in Europe. And this Hitler was practicing apartheid. Yes, Hitler was practicing apartheid. And those Europeans and Jews wanted him to die. Those Europeans and Jews wanted him to quench. One more time. That was Hitler. He was in Europe. That was Hitler. I say he was in Europe. And that Hitler was practicing apartheid. Yes, Hitler was practicing apartheid. And those Europeans and Jews wanted him to die. Oh yes, Europeans and Jews wanted him to die. That was war.
Yes.
I said that was war.
Yes.
Yes, that was war between Hitler and Europe. And that was war to eradicate apartheid in Europe. And that was war to eradicate apartheid in Europe. And all the whole world was invited to fight. The whole world was invited to fight. Yes, the whole world was invited to fight. Because America was invited to fight. Japan was invited to fight. Russia was invited to fight. France was invited to fight. Not all that, Africa was invited to fight. Yes, Africa was invited to fight. My father and your father were invited to fight. My father and your father were invited to fight. Like obedient children, we went there to fight. Like obedient children, we went there to die.
Like obedient children, we went there to fight, we went there to die. Now, let me go back here again. Thank you, Counselor. Thank you. Let Samson come in here. Thank you, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. And the reason of me doing this here again tonight, not only because I have big mouth, I do have a big mouth. And like I say, your hair fame my mom, my hair fame your mom, nothing you can do to me. I'm Blaku, the liberal progressive. Some guy came out here the other night. Who were talking the guest called me liberal progressive. It was something to don't be too sure about the liberal. You know why? The liberal is not liberal, liberal and progressive they're the same. And the reason the Democrat was using that because it's some kind of flimsy explanation. I didn't even pay attention to it. I said, my goodness, you're wasting my time. But anyhow, folks, those of you that this article is on Front Page Africa. Let me tell you now, it's on Front Page Africa. In our article, the counselors truly lay it out. And again, let me just say this, and I'm not trying to say to Dr. WEAH and his supporters, they know what they want. They know what to do and what not to do. I'm not here to tell them what to do. But if I was one of them, okay, if I was in their shoe, I will use this opportunity. To dispel most rumors and everything else that is happening. The counselor lay it out for them, and you would think they will come out and actually say, thank you, counselor. The opportunity has been given. Let's give the explanation. But they're not doing it. They don't want to do that. That's okay. That's okay. And as long they continue to sit tight, those who have the ability to improvise will do so. The question is not going away. The $16 billion question is going to come back. The $25 million map out is going to come back. The coastal highway is coming back. The Chinese big $400 million, whatever, is coming back. All of those things, they are records. They're on papers. You can't make them go away. So my advice, and that is if you want to listen to me, first thing is this. I met Councillor GONGLOE one time. We did not have the opportunity to formally introduce ourselves. Hello, hello, that was it. One time. On the same roof, I'm not going to say what circumstances, I'm just telling you. So he doesn't know. If you were to put him, I know him because I've seen him most of the time. But if you were to put me and say side by side with him and say, Councillor, you know who this is? He doesn't know me. So I'm not here to promote. But what I am here to do is to be truthful. Is to be truthful. The counselor asked a question on Front Page Africa. And as good as he is, he didn't rush into this. He did not throw political jive at the president. Go and read it. He simply asked, what is this source funding for these projects, these mansions that you're building? And he reminded all of us, you came to power. In 6 months, you started constructing all of these things. Where the money coming from? Now, do you think that if the president was not president of the Republic of Liberia, if he was just a private citizen, or even a senator, a building, of course the question will still come. But because of his high position, the interest of those construction, they're going to be huge. But let me tell you this other fun. Go on from Google and Google this thing, you will find them. So Monuba decided to address this issue as it was hot at the time. To address the issue about the president building mansions because people were questioning. So Monuba explanation, I read it today, and I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not going to sit here and quote him. So his explanation was, Honor Madam Salif, Dr. WEAH could not have done any investment because the atmosphere was not conducive, number one. The country was not safe, according to him, Monuba. And therefore, for Dr. WEAH to do any kind of major investment would be risky. He didn't want to risk his money. And therefore, he was not going to invest in a country that was not safe. And that's why. But now that he's the leader now, the country is safe under him, and therefore he's ready now to invest. That was it. That was a major stuff to defend the president. But yet still, he Molu, the country that was not safe, he was there running campaign. He was there criticizing the same government that he said was not safe. And he was successful. Successful. Massively successful, to be honest. He told us, crucify me if I am unable to elect Ambassador WEAH to this position. This is the country that he said was not safe. But yet still he has the opportunity to campaign all over the country. The country that he says is not safe for any kind of investment. But still, he was able to go out and campaign for his candidate to win the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. I'm just giving it to you two ways. I'm not saying Monu statement is reckless, or I'm not characterizing any of that. I'm just giving it to you as it. You make your own judgment. Okay. So, folks, let me now go ahead and put my number up there and give me a call. Basically, the point here tonight, let me say this again, my support for Ambassador Bakai is not winning away. It's not going nowhere. But who I am and what I am is what I do best. It's to be truthful. It's to be truthful. So if my truth, me being truthful, if it sounds like wishy-washy or vacillating, that's your opinion as well. It don't move me. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I have. Okay? So let me just say this to you. Thank you for recognizing my talent, because like I said from the beginning, I have the ability to compartmentalize. And people who have that, to be honest with you, you are able to remove yourself from a certain situation, not physically, but emotionally. You are able to remove yourself and still be involved in the conversation. Intellectual, intelligent. My mom, she is from a certain group in the BI Chiefdom Bell. They call it Dugo. And this is what I say when I go into public arena and giving a speech or whatever. The first thing I would say, especially in my own Basam brothers and sisters, first thing I say is, in this or Dugo Nepo from Loahamoy. In other words, my mom is from Dugo. Intellect. It's not something people in Dugo can buy, because that's who they are. Highly, anybody from Dugo, highly intellectual. Dugo, highly intellectual. So I don't have to buy my mom from there. It's part of me. Samson too. Like I said, you ain't paying my mom, my ain't paying you more. There's nothing you can do to me. I am Braku. That's all it is. Let me put my number up, folks. Samson too, Labro Pabrino. Let me put a number. Give me a call on a very serious note. Give me a call and tell me what do you think of my monologue here tonight, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yeah, my number there. Give me a call. Samson told Labron Pabrito, give me a call. Let's go a little bit. Let's go to Bon County right now and see how far we're going to get from that. Let's go. Samson told Labron Pabrito, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Pato, this is Nankemu. I'm calling from Cedar Rabbit. How you doing?
Not bad. Come on, thank you. And this is the music that you give us, and we're trying to utilize that. Thank you very much. What's on your mind, sir?
You're welcome. Well, tonight is one of your best nights.
Oh my goodness!
I must congratulate you. Thank you so much for giving all this kind of important information. You know, that's what I like about this platform. Like you said, it's not that you're promoting a man, but you want to be balanced and you want to give the man his flower based on his past records that have been, witnessed by countless of people when it comes to his poor man, quote unquote, poor man lawyer status. And, and also student advocacy role in the country. So I must applaud you for that. Having said that, I for one, I cannot trust how they call it, old man Joe Boakai when it comes to persecuting people in our country, especially quote unquote in the present government. So because of Mr. Gongolo's past record in advocating for a society where people can be how they call respected, everybody can have adequate equality in the society, people can benefit from the labor, and at least the question he asked when it comes to President WEAH acquisition of wealth in a structured period of time since he ascended the presidency, if he can assure me that he will prosecute, he will investigate Ambassador WEAH and joining Cllr, because we still get on record. It's near the cabin before our son. And you know, Cllr, how they call it, Robert Cllr and the other guys. And George Weah took in power in 6 months time, less than 6 months time. He had broken down his houses, built new one. How he got the money, we don't know. And he told before that he had 50 grand in the bank. And one other thing, Moriba Moluki and board tracing on that. How you go out there solicit for and kind of using your own personal interest. So these are all things that are on the book. That if Mr. Gongolo can assure me or guarantee me, Nanjamu, that he will investigate George Weah, Cllr and other people and bring it to book, I tell you for free tonight, I will call that bro personally and campaign for Mr. Gongolo. But again, my skepticism will only be because other people have done it before and they have not persecuted other people. So I will be a little bit on the fence looking at, how he respond to me. But honestly, he's somebody who seems to be prepared for the presidency. Until you can have him on the platform where we can ask him this question, I will be happy to get his response. And again, I want to say thank you. I think you're in the wrong camp. You need to start thinking about going on that side. And then lastly, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
And then lastly, I heard about some Bogina B activity in Grand G.
In total.
I don't know how.
In total.
Yeah. I don't know how you follow that story, but that story very much interesting to me. Because number one, how can the Bogina B people live from where Burkina Faso come in Liberia, acquire land, and how they call it, and stepping on those who own the land in Grand G and doing all other things that are even people reporting them to the local authority, and the local authority not taking no action. So I don't know what's going on in Grand G over there. Even though I'm not from Grand G, I'm from Bon County, but I have interest there too. So I want for you, with the kind of intellectual power you have, especially for that area you talk about, to please look into this particular matter and let's be aware of it.
Well, let me just give you information on this on the Burkina Faso issue. When I went home a month or so ago, when I was in Town, I saw those people around about say 12 o'clock or so in the day. They will come in front of my toll quarter, because that's the courthouse is on top of the hill, and because many of them their cell phone they have is registered in Abidjan. So they will want to come on top of the hill and then move around to have reception. And the question was, why are they here? I mean, there's no area. As you drive from Town, even going to Zwedru or coming back to Nima County, you will see them in the morning, especially, you will see them 10, 15 of them in group, just going from one place to another. I don't know. But here's what's going to happen. Here's what I think going to happen. Most of the people over there were welcomed by the people in the town themselves. But what they don't realize is that once these people put root down, it's going to be difficult to dislodge them. And I'll make sure my farm that I'm fighting for, once I'm successful, I will fence that farm. And anybody that you make mistake, you go on that farm, you're not coming by. It's my property. I do what I want to do. You come onto my land without invitation. I'm not even going to say, let's go to court. You would take me to court. So, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. The issue here is what they don't realize is once these people, because they start having kids already. What are you going to do with these kids? These kids are Liberians. You can't do anything. You can't do anything to them. And the way they come about, according to the story, which we have not vetted yet, we're still trying to ascertain most of it, is that they give money to most of the Granadian politicians, and they accepted them. And the same way they do their own campaign by getting few young people on board, and these young people give them money, and they start going around making statements and lies and what have you, get re-elected or get elected. This is exactly what is happening. But it's not over yet. Don't worry, it's not over. Perhaps
Yes,
Dr. Weah and his people, they're not paying attention right now because most of the people that are involved, the grand politicians that are involved, are close to the president. In fact, you heard about this situation where you got called about in Grand Gila, the superintendent. What the story was, the superintendent was invited to Grand Gila, coming back to Grand Gila to give him a brand new truck. So so what is he going to say? But they're not going to stay in power for life, and hopefully once the WEAH government is out, the next government that will come in will take these things seriously and then do what they have to do. But let me take this other call. Now,
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We waiting, and I know you're investigating into that because how they call it, we know what happened right now in the world.
Yeah,
we as young Liberians, we are looking at our country from a nationalistic point of view. All that the other people discussing. If we don't take hold of our country, we will regret it. And for some of us, we're not thinking about that. But thank you so much. I look forward to hearing more about this.
Thank you. Samson
Bye.
to Liberian Public Radio. Hello? Okay. All right, the person's gone. But anyhow, my number is there. Give me a call. Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Let's talk about it. It's Friday evening. All I say to you, though, is please, whatever you do tonight, stay safe. It's very important. So the Burkinabe issue, I'll take on that issue. But when I do, I will invite. We have a radio station in Town, Peace FM, and so we will invite the director, who has a young man just like many of you, and he will be able to give us some information as well. Samson to Liberian Public, what's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Josephus Thomas.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, I called, like the caller while he was saying, I think more people on here writing saying they caller that he don't want the development. I don't know what get our people so crazy like that in their mind. Because all of them are talking about this caller don't want development. Whether they went on refugees camp and stuff, even the Morba Molulan, they all were on refugees camp. What kind of country we don't love our own country? We don't love our people. Look at the incident that just occurred in Liberia concerning Princess Cooper, the Lebanese man life. And our people go into the country, they treat them badly. Even the Ghanaians, you can be of one Liberian parent, they will deport that one Liberian parent and you back to Liberia. But yet they say, we say, our country will get go. After all these things are happening, okay, and our justice system, our president, the government has succeeded. Ellen Johnson said, I'm not really surprised when these sedition asked the question, why the Ellen did not support the war in economic crime code. How can a criminal prosecute herself? Do we expect Ellen to prosecute herself? And then Judge, we had to our surprise, he came and said, we are family. Do something too. I want to know if your brother can kill you.
Yeah.
If we're family, what should we still have the judicial system in the country? If we're not making use of the judicial system. Because every little thing want to sweep it on the road, say, oh, we are family, you like carry home. Then why should you pay Francis Kwakwa and the other people? Look at now, our police system. Why we don't wake up, or why we can't wake up and think faster. Now, every country have their own Unit 100 to Unit 116. And those countries, they support their police system with their resources because we can make it. Because one police director, people in Moria, certain part of Moria, look at the old rule. Like the video I saw. And that's exactly true, like I was saying. In the next 2 years, you see children under 18, they got call license on the old rule in the curve over there near that Kalamno place. How some they hijack people and the people cannot even go to the people rescue. I mean, I think when we were coming up in our era, when anything happened to something to us, everybody in that neighborhood will run there.
Yep.
Mr. To, I don't know whether you remember that. Like, no, you so be that.
Well,
the wickedness was not too much in our country.
Yeah.
But now we got 69 million churches, 79 million mosques, and we say we are Christian, we are Muslim, and we so wicked in our country. Why should we be so wicked at that?
Okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I mean, these are emotional times, and but we have to discuss these things.
Yeah. So now, if I would support any president, we want a president who will say they will prosecute all those killers and those criminals, and then we want a president who will promise us, not just promise us, if you promise you do it, you got to reform Camp Better Yara. Let us rebuild Better Yara in the morning phone. We take those criminals from the street. Anybody kill anybody, we put you there. We put you there for 25 years. You leave the society. I think I would suggest to that person people we support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Give me a call and express yourself freely. Mr. George, Mr. Emma George, if you're listening, please get ready to close the show for us, if you don't mind. Again, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. We try to do our best here. And I'm hoping that when a consular comes, of course, I think Mr. So most likely will host him. And if that's the case, I hope many of you will have the opportunity to tune in and even ask questions. I'm sure the consular will be willing to take questions. The point here again is not so much of me promoting the consular. I think Knox said it correctly. Okay, so Mr. George, good evening. Just 1 minute. Let me just land here, then I'll let you come in. So it's not me promoting as much as I try to give you this information based on the character. I want you to look at the character aspect of him and why now that he's even asking the president. So if you don't look at the character to know who he is, then perhaps you will come up with these kinds of statements to say the man is seeking relevance. And this is what I want to disabuse many of you of. Mr. George, go ahead. Thank you for joining us. What do you think?
Mr. To? How you doing?
Not bad. Thank you for joining me.
Okay. Oh, look, just give me a minute. Let me say something to my people today.
Yeah, please.
Oh.
Don't you think you want to do it on video, or you're not in a position with that?
Okay, let me join the video.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, let's have Mr. George call us on video, and no, I don't want to remove that one. And yeah, yes. Okay, Mr. George. Yeah, you just face your camera. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, yo. Mr. George, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Okay, he's coming by. So anyway, folks, while we're out here, we will continue to do these things here. We're hoping that on this platform, one thing Mr. So would say to all of us, Mr. George, can you hear me now? Why am I not hearing? Can you hear me? No, I think it has to do. Yeah, but I cannot hear you. Okay, let's do this. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, go ahead, make your appointment, brother.
Oh, look, I want to extend my deeper condolences to the GONGLOE family that the GONGLOE passed today.
Right.
And he was one of the funniest sons of Bone County. And it happened that we're all coming from the same district, the same Sunny district. And so it's one of those days because for us, we had just lost one of the finest sons of Bone County. If you ever met him, he was very calm, cool going. So to the family and the people of Bone County, I say, Kakuda. So, yeah, having said that, on what your monologue about Councillor GONGLOE, except maybe stranger, but Councillor GONGLOE is well known in Liberia for his role he has played and continue to play for advocating for Liberian people. I mean, mainly the ordinary people. You know, many of the work he does in Liberia is almost free, representing people. So I don't think someone will question his character to say maybe he's doing it to gain some fame or popularity, because from his younger age up to this time, that's what he has been doing and continue to do for the Liberian people. So if somebody, we all have our way of analyzing and making our judgment with people. So I will not question someone, but I just want us to be truthful, forthcoming, to say the truth about somebody. Even you might disagree, but say the truth about him. And that's one of the things I will tell people. If I don't like you, I will not lie on your name. I will say what is true about you. But Councillor GONGLOE he's not just elevating the discussion. I know on this platform, many times someone I question this property of a person where acquisition of property in Liberia, just right after he was inaugurated. And people always say why people want to know where the person got getting the money from or where he got his money from. No. I always say if you are in private life, nobody is concerned about you. Once you are a private citizen, nobody is concerned what you do, how you get your money. But when you enter the public life, then of course people got to screw on every little move you make. Moreover, when you are in charge of the country's coffers. So this question here, President WEAH will have to come clean to the Liberian people. How he acquired money to build this property. Because Councillor GONGLOE point, he was coming from the point that the assertion that President WEAH continue to make and the supporters of President WEAH that he is the greatest president ever in Liberia, in the history of Liberia. And Councillor GONGLOE said that one prompted him to come out and say, no. If you say he's the greatest president in Liberia, then yes, I will agree with you that he's the greatest president in the sense that the houses that he had built from Joseph Jenkins Town up to Ellen Johnson, they never built those kind of homes. So then I will agree with that he's the greatest president in that light. But you cannot say he's the greatest president in terms of development, because just the shortest time he has stayed up for 5 years, the property that he acquired, homes that he acquired from Joseph Jenkins up to Ellen Johnson Sally, none of them ever acquired such a property. So he was saying that, okay, if you say now that he's the greatest, fine. But he said then, the Constitution requires us to know how the president got his money. Because he said, when he was senator, he said he was making 1,000 something like that when he was in the child support business. He said he was making around $1,000. So if you are making that amount, how come you acquire this kind of property? Short period of time. So this becomes one argument. Then he spoke about human rights violation in Liberia. And he made specific reference to the guy that was killed in Nimakana, security guard earlier. He said he went in the town, he slept in the town, and people came to tell him that this young man was running for his life. And the councilor said this man was shot 3 times in the foot, in the stomach. And he said the government came and said that the man will come kill himself or something like that. And he was making an analysis. if even you step on fire, fire will burn you. How can someone shoot themselves in the foot? Then you say, oh no, I know. Shoot themselves in the stomach. Then you say, oh no, I know. Then shoot yourself in the head. And he's saying that these are things that the government need to address. Law and order. So I'm not credit for Councillor GONGLOE will say, oh, he's doing it for things. But no, this man has been representing people like bro for a very, very long time. It's just about it now because he now running for president and now got a bigger platform trying to re-echo or reinforce the messages that we have been preaching, that the president must give account of the property that he had just acquired. He was senator. 6 months time, president. Where's the desire of a president to build 42 condominiums? Broke the 9th Street house down. There's another house on the beach. People say, well, his son. Then they say, oh no, it was this and that. So there are conflicting things around this acquisition of property by government officials in Liberia. And this thing will not go away because people need accountability from the president downward. All these people acquiring these property, how they get the money. None of people had any property in Liberia at the time coming to power. So if they are borrowing the money from the bank, okay. But let's see these loan contracts. Let's see the loan that you're getting from the bank and how you're paying it. All these things, they are not telling the Liberian people all the same that, hey, don't question me, I'm working. I can get loan from the bank. But then it's the few privilege, because if one of the ministers and directors can get money from the bank to build the houses, what happened to Yakbalo then? Is the government being transparent to the people? So Councillor GONGLOE is just now reinforcing the message that we have continued to preach, that President WEAH must tell the Liberian people how he acquiring these property. And maybe they think that by not saying anything, they could stay in power for the next 12 years if the Liberian people re-elect them. But at the end of that 12 years, another government will come to power. And there was one, Liberia will not remain the same old way. Somebody will come to sweep that place and say, hey, I want to know how you people acquire these property. Let's go to the Ministry of Finance, bring your deed, bring your bank book, let's see how you are paying, how you got the money. Well, someone will say, oh, my Lebanese friend. Yes, but if the Lebanese man built those condominiums for you, what was the purpose of he building it? What kickback that he got from the contract? Because someone can say, hey, that was given to the president. Yes, we want to know what our person was doing. And what did they get from government that they awarding the president that gift? It said that they took duplicate contract and gave it to you so that you kick back to the president to say, I'll build you some condominium because I don't want to get you cash because the people ask where you get the money from. So we want to know all these things here. We have to know if the Lebanese builder or Indian man built it, why he built those condominiums, those houses for the president. Why? What business you're doing in Liberia that he would just get one money to build 10 houses, a mansion for one person and say, oh, this for you. What business was he doing in Liberia? Because if you are doing a business, it's a genuine business, we don't think that you just take that kind of money and go and build a structure and give it to one person. There has to be a kickback in return. So the government, that is we are their government, must come to tell the Liberian people, put your book out there, look, I have 80 million in the bank. It's been sitting down there on the stock market. This is the profit I got, and I threw it, so you have my receipt. That case closed. But we have to know these things. So let me just look at something from this thing, that grand I think the guy talked about, Mr. Tool. On the same platform, your representative from Boston District were on the same platform. We raised that issue about beginner bees. He went to say, oh, that Liberia is part of ECOWAS. Secondly, someone had said that people in Grand don't want to work. So if people come into work, then they will accept those people. And someone raised the issue, the security concern about people coming into the country. If these people coming just to make subsistence farming, then what is it they are bringing in? They're not coming to make, it's not mechanized farming to say people are bringing equipment, they will hire 200-300 persons. No. So are you seeing that people don't have bush in their home to farm there? They have to leave Burkina Faso campaigns with agriculture to come to Liberia to farm. Someone raised an issue with the representative, and he was defending these people. That once they are in Liberia legally, they are part of ECOWAS, free movement of people. So, and secondly, if they are there willing to work and the citizens of Grand don't want to work, so he got some on his farm. He said on this platform, the tips are there. But what is the security implication of our people? Because these people come in, I always say when they come in, they'll be very gentle. But the moment they get married, they're born, then they start taking property now. The man who is in the town to say now, you stranger, you can't pass the place out of my land. We have seen this history before. But again, the people in those areas, especially the authority, they are receiving some financial aid from these people. That's why you see these people continue to flood into those areas. In the rural area, those remote areas, they are there. And sooner or later, there will be another fight among the people, the indigenous of that area and these people. Because they will not start saying, oh no, this place for me. And those who got money, they will not be affected because they will all be protected by their money. But the poor people now will start suffering from these people. And so this issue of the Burkinabés in Grand Guinea and other places, the citizens of that area must raise this issue very seriously. Because that farming there, I always say that farming, I don't believe in it. You live away Burkina Faso, you can't, why you can't stay in Ivory Coast, closer to you? You speak the same language, why you can't stay there to make the farm? They play well, they produce highly speak French, that's why you come in, to come make farm there. What sense that make? And it's not even mechanized farming, subsistence farming. That's what you come to do. The next year, you know, they start planting cocoa tree, they start planting orange tree. The Lord, they say, oh, they play that my own area. The chief gave it to me. You are not even born. Trouble started. So this thing, our people need to look at it. It has security implications. That's land issue. That's land issue. They may not go and make fire here tomorrow. You can't say don't plant anything there. You take it, move from here. You are not even here when the people give me the plan. I begin my farm. I plant my thing. Then you can't tell me say don't plant it here. That's trouble there again. So our people need to look at this thing here. But I want to say thank you. I think the GONGLOE people must put you on the board because you have done a good promotion of, promoting selling this man to the Liberian people. I have not seen anybody in all the video I've been following to articulate about this man, what you said tonight about him. You surely sold him to those who support him and those who sit on the fence for his presidential bid. I think they will call you after the program to say, Mr. Toole, thank you very well for what you did for Councillor GONGLOE because you actually did a brilliant job explaining to the Liberian people who is this man and what he has done to get to this point. He's not just joining jail camp. He's been there from the days you are in school and up to this point. So I think you did pretty well. And we hope to see you one day so we can ask him some questions that we have on our minds so he can answer. Because Liberia, I always say nepotism has been one of our problems. And I want to know from him, if he becomes president, can he look in that camera and will to answer the question that will he appoint a close member from into the government? I want to know, because those are some of the problems in Liberia. Man become president, the sister, the brother, everybody get government position. Then they become a point now to prosecute when they go wrong. You can't prosecute them. And as I said the other day, we have seen this thing in government over and over. So we're hoping to see the council to come here, saying you are doing a good sale for him to answer some of the questions that are lingering on our minds about his presidential bid. But I think I met him before. He's a decent man, you know, and for what he says, and I see him doing, I think he stands for principles. But again, I got voting power in Liberia, so the ball is in the court of the Liberian people, and you're the one used to say you eat crow to go pay Judge WEAH. And I always told you, there are some decent people in Liberia, and I mentioned Custom Government, WAPO. I said there are other people. If Joseph Boykan or Cummings, they can't make it. There are other Liberians who can fill in the gap. So I don't know what I say. Want to eat a crow? I want to see it.
No, the crow. I catch it with salt. I keep it there. I'm ready to eat it.
They said I will go and pay, but I'll pay George WEAH. So okay, but I always told you, Mr. So hold on. So there are other good Liberians.
No, I agree. Why he's I know he's a decent person. Like I said here, this is the intent of the show tonight. It's not to promote his presidency, but just to say and that look at his character. I want all of you, even if you're whatever camp you're in, I want you to look at these people from the perspective of who they are as a human being, you know. And so I tell that because the article, when you read the article, you start reading some of the comments that people were writing on Front Page Africa, and it just really got to me. To say you don't even know who this guy is. And so I decided, okay, well, before I go respond, let me go do a little bit of research. So I did my own, and I found this one article where this guy wrote. And this guy who wrote this thing, you know, most likely is very close to him to know those days that he was beaten so much that his left ear, to be specific, with the side of the ear that was hurting. That means he knows more. So I tell her that I did that, not so much of trying to promote him to say he's a good person, let him be. But those of you people who are watching, you know, I just want to prick your interest to do more research. Look at these people, and hopefully when he comes here to talk to us, that many of our audience will have the opportunity to quiz him. And but with this kinds of background, I think any other person that's going to come to quiz him will come from a perspective of knowing his character, or at least I've heard of his character, and perhaps will question him on morally on some issue that have to do his fortitude, his temperament, and all those kinds of good stuff, based on the fact that he has been in the fight for a very long time. So what is his temperament? What is his experience? What is he bringing on the table besides this advocacy? What does he do if he gets pushed back? What are some of the things that get him takes and stuff like that?
Temperament, I have seen him in court, and he's very soft-spoken.
Mr. Joyce, the courthouse is his football field.
But I mean, the courthouse, you can see aggressive lawyer there.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is he's a good player when it comes to the courthouse. He's a good player, and the reason why he's a good striker when it comes to the courthouse, because he knows how to play it. He knows this game, and he knows exactly what word, what tune, and stuff that will what pitch, when to use a high pitch and when to use a low pitch. That's what making a good lawyer on the field of the courthouse. Yeah. So he knows.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you can see people. Even there are some lawyers who have problem with temperament, who are very aggressive. But with him, I had seen him in the cold hall. I had gone to his office before in Monrovia. And you get there, you meet the way he talk to people. You can know that this person, I think he be dealing with people, he understands people. So those are some of the characters that you can easily pick up from people. You can see someone today and say, hey, I know this person so.
Right.
This is
okay.
it.
All right, Mr. George, I think we'll leave it as that. I want to thank you very much.
I want you to look at, I sent you a video today. I don't know if you look at that video.
No, not yet.
There was Turkish group of people that had a school in Liberia was deported by your government overnight.
What government?
By your government, the WEAH government.
They deported who?
Some Turkish national that had a school in Monrovia.
Oh. Well, I didn't know that.
I seen the video from one of the local radio stations in Monrovia this morning. Okay. And it was on all the media platform that this guy, they were opposition from Turkey. They being like Liberia since I think Ellington, they're running schools in Monrovia.
Very good opposition to other one.
Yeah, other one. And
so now I don't want stretch his hand. And say you want something people must. Now most likely if they send them back to Turkey, they're probably going to go to jail.
Oh, but you know that's I don't understand. So, but briefly they just said that he wanted Ellen to get rid of these people. But you know that was why I played her car. I said no. So the school was the Turkish, I think, Life School. So they just took the Turkish and called it Life at the International. So the people stayed that they were operating. But your president went to Turkey, I think last month. George went to Turkey last month. And came back, according to the information, yesterday night, midnight, the government went there and put all the school administrators, Turkey National, and took them to Rafia and sent them to Ghana and said they will never come back again.
But they didn't send them to Turkey, they just sent them to Ghana.
They took them from Liberia and sent them to Ghana. So they said they were in Ghana they were processing the Ghanaian authority, I think, to go back to Turkey.
So what happened to their assets?
That's why I said that's an interesting story now. The schools, they said that according to the radio station, the government will have a meeting today. I think they will take over the school. And they said many parents are very angry because the school, I think, is one of those elite schools in Monrovia.
If the government take over, all they have to do is pull their student out. Then what are they going to get out of it? Nothing. Yeah. You're going to get $1 billion. You put your own student and teachers over there, and it's the same old stuff, all failing.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. George. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Again, folks, we're going to leave it as that and say thank you tonight. It's been a wonderful, wonderful Friday evening. Please stay safe out there as we leave you with this once again. The progressive. Let's see here. Let's let Dr. WEAH take us to his unity cry here for a minute. Good night, folks.
de Manuel Dagala Quinga. Oh, the Woga Tabai. The Banga de Mawango. Away, Daganema. Ganyabi, Nabana Joy. Marapita. Abameleka, Guana Gaga, Abakebu today. Abaga will bring a joy. Ganga, Abameleka. My Lubrana to a carrying Abakeka. Make out the Galakaki. Jagan, one, who got the bird. Jagan, who got the bird. Can you be? Can you be? Oh,